Foxy, both beating out Windstorm and Levitate Esports pretty handedly. Easy does it. And so now they're here to take on one another, dialed in. This team, a little bit interesting. Okay, I know we were having a discussion in the break time about them. They are actually the team that was Trade Like Pros Gold, +1 basically. And oh my goodness, is this real? Am I dreaming?
Oh,
Keg, I
I
need
think
you to pinch me.
I'll try. Hold on, stand
Oh,
still. But wait, haha, before I do, you gotta tell me who the +1 is.
oh no, I can't do it.
I'm waiting. I'm
Uh,
waiting to pinch you.
okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna be continued dreaming because
I'll still pinch you. Hold on.
we're. Uh, uh, okay, I'm still awake. We're going to Icebox, baby. I can't believe it. This has finally happened. I've been waiting for the moment. We've been stuck in a Sint jail all day long, Keg, and we have finally escaped.
Yes. It's about time. Like we said, we got our reps in for Ascent for the day. I'm sure the other casters down the line will have to do the same thing. But hey, we get to go to Icebox.
Exactly.
Yay?
Yay is right. And the reason I'll tell you why yay. Listen, I am with you. Well, I don't know. Maybe you disagree, but I think by your tone, I think Icebox is not the greatest of competitive maps. But let me tell you, it's a hell of a good time to watch because anything can happen, everything can happen, and we will watch it all go down, and we'll be right here with you to take you through it because it can be an interesting map. Let me tell you.
I have a love-hate relationship with this map. I hate playing this map. I love watching this map, though.
Yep.
But something that already strikes me, and this might sound kind of odd, but Viper has had a huge prevalence on this map. This is probably the only map in the game, Vin, where you could really say, oh, that's weird. There's no Viper.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Are you in my
Oops.
brain right now? I was just thinking, where,
I pinched your
why,
brain.
what? That was it. That was it. You don't see a Viper, and actually no Sage here for dialed in. Equally odd. I mean, they do have a Sky, which is pretty reasonable here, but they're going with that double duelist, the Raze plus the Jet setup against the Sage might be a bit difficult.
Yeah, and if you don't have a Viper, you don't have a Sage. You're gonna have to go very, very aggressive if you're on the defense here. And starting things off on the defense is also kind of wacky for them as well. We do have the flashes coming up from Adder as well, but behind Yellow Box are gonna be a whole different slew of Foxy Pole coming on by. And so far, it's gonna be Foxy's favor getting all these opening kills. Of course, they're so up close and so close. It's down to a 2v2 despite all those advantages we talked about. Bringing it down to a 1v1, Foxy just barely come out on top.
I mean, that was just great trading all the way around. Dialed in and Foxy both playing that very well. The only problem was that Foxy got the opening pick. They got the spike down and then were able to get that first frag. So the trades ended up favoring them out over the course of time. But actually, really solid round right there, trade-wise from Dialed in. And Foxy, though, come out on top because of that opening pick that they were able to pull. But look at this. We've seen a bit of an adjustment, right, in the second round purchases. It looks like
Right
Dialed
here.
in might be living in the past here as they pick up a force buy.
It's funny that you mentioned they're living in the past because we don't see a Viper, we don't see a Sage, and we also see a Force Buy here. It's all really interesting, but they still did a fantastic job in round number 1, and they continue to do so, getting the opening pick. Holy, it just keeps on going down. Dobby with a double kill with the Bucky, no less, is able to put things in. That's only going to leave 2 left alive for Foxy's side. With all that being said and done, though, they have the spike in their possession. They might be able to get the orb and skedaddle out of there, but they say, screw the orb. I'm not going to go for that. We're going to go all the way to B side. But they don't have a duelist, and they're not going to go for B. Everything I've said has been wrong, but now they have the tripwires, and they have the, whatever you call the zip lines, in their favor here. But look at the others transversing their way forwards. They're waiting to see if the Killjoy is either going to be entrailed on B site, or if it's just going to be a slow crawl to the finish line.
Yeah, everybody playing pretty spread out here for Dialed in as Foxy just to sniff out any of this aggression from the defenders. Net is still ready and waiting in prime position to deny this. Now the double swing lines him up and gives a ton of damage on the both of them, but it's not quite enough to take either down. So still 2-on-3 now, but with the low HP, Foxy in a tough spot. That bot Oh, that could be devastating here if they walk into the Killjoy without knowing exactly where the bot is. And it's just 12 seconds left. I think this might just be a save for Foxy. As well, we said maybe a blast from the past here in that dialed in, went for the forced buy. Maybe a bit unfair in that I do know a lot of teams are still doing that. But either way, it's worked out very effectively for them.
It has worked really effectively, and they showed in the work in that second round here. And, continuing on, being able to win so many trades and being able to keep all that artillery going to this next round, there's options being brought out from Dialed In. They could go up for the force buy, at least the one that did go down. Net will be forcing up, but the rest of the team, they're just opting the bonus a little bit. But with that being said and done, we have to see if anything changes positionally for Foxy going to this next round here. And already we see a lot of aggression going towards A, but the spike itself is dropped on B side.
Well, and I think we saw, that's a great shot right there from Ira, but I think we saw mostly it was the strength of the Bucky close range on this map really came out for Dialed In, and that was the turning point for them in that prior round. That double kill, don't even remember who it was at this point, so you'll have to forgive me, but yeah, that double kill coming in for Dialed In, that was the key to their victory. Is now a man advantage for Foxy as they inch their way up mid, but there's a player, Adder, sitting there, spots out the torso, picks up the one, could it be two? No, not quite. Yellowfish there for the trade, as now it's a 1-for-1, and that still means the man advantage is very much in Foxy's favor.
That could have been incredible coming out there, but unfortunately didn't quite go the way they had hoped. Instead, though, we have a man disadvantage against Dialed In, and now all these defenders, at least only one can be really present on A. Luckily, though, it's going to be the Omen smoking out everything possibly they could in seconds, trying to deny as much as possible, but it's the counter smokes coming in as well from the Jet. Planting going down, Yellowfish has it down, but look at that, Nick having the push on up himself. It's gonna be the rest of the rotates coming through in due time. No Killjoy utility to work with, not a whole lot in general to really work with. They have to push up, or if they want to play the same save game that the other team did in the last round, they are able to do so. But the spike is the main objective right now. Smoke's in place, they might be able to smoke through and get a ninja defuse, but even then, everyone on Foxy playing backwards. They're all holding back as much as they can, waiting for that defuse to go through. Already in half, Nick might be able to get this through. No one's been able to spot the spike until it's too late. Foxy get it.
That was, I mean, honestly, very, very close. I thought that there was, just for a second, that Foxy might just, have thought, oh, okay, they can't be behind that wall because the smoke denied the information. But no, able to go through. Yellowfish getting aggressive, Alvin as well. So that's just a solid round now, 2 for Foxy, as it's kind of back to the drawing board for Dialed In. But remember, you mentioned it, Keg. They bonused out last round. No real heavy investment or reinvestment, I should say, of the weaponry, and for that reason they have full rifles online, with the exception of the Jet, who has pulled out that Blade Storm. So really a solid position on the purchase for Dialed In, even though they lost that last round.
Because of all that, all the artillery now on both sides here. Look at the aggression coming out from the beginning here, but the knives beat out Vandals any day of the week, it seems. Already a duelist gone on Foxy's side. Now everyone else pushing up on B. We've only seen one B round before, and that was on the pistols. But it seems like nobody's there. Or at least that's what they want Dialed In to think. They're all rotating back to A site. Spike slowly making its way towards A, but there's bodies already in Raptors. They are waiting for this moment to strike Vin. They are waiting as much as they humanly can. The knives are around the corner, but somebody's got to strike first. Call maybe this Mewtwo, because someone's got to strike back, but we're still waiting and waiting and waiting. But this Spike still hasn't yet found a home. It's only seconds away now from a potential destruction, but they're taking their time. They're trying to find as much intel as possible, but the smokes are going to go on through. The plant going down. They've been able to make this work in the past, but the wall goes down as soon as it comes up, and Adder comes through with a triple kill, no less. That is going to be a huge tie-up.
Listen, I said that I've been a little bit surprised by the lack of big names that this Dialed In squad has been able to take out, because specifically of the big name player Adder that I have a lot of respect for, and that's exactly well, that was a conversation we were having beforehand. And that's exactly the sort of plays from Adder that I am used to seeing. That's exactly what I want to see, and that is exactly what Dialed In needed. Picking up that round. Now, it is pretty much the exact same situation. They bonused in last round, did Foxy. So now, gonna have the full rifles with the exception of the knives for the Jet. First frag going Net's way, but quickly traded out by Indies. As now it's a bit of a duel here on the B side. Indies with a second onto Larry. So that's 1-man advantage now as Yellowfish gonna be caught out by that paranoia, but gets the teleport, so it's not a big deal.
Not a big deal, but it's becoming a big one at that, though. Dobby's gonna find some damage, but even then, look at the rest of the B-side. It's surrounded by those on the attack. Right up above, look! Oh, thank God he's able to get it, but at what cost? It's gonna be Envy trading them out instead. Still 2 more alive on both sides, though. Dialed In might be able to go in for the aggression here. They could go for the kill, but it's probably not worth it. It's a mad dash now on the A site.
Look at this. The showstopper available. Hunter's Fury as well for Foxy. They have a lot of tools at their disposal as well. That full kit, essentially, with the exception of the Boombot for the Rays. So Dobby going to be able to hear that plant. Calls for the rotation. Oh, sneaking around the corner. Not quite spotted one out. Now, sees the edge of the gun and the shoulder. Takes that one out. That was Envy's. Now, Alvin, he's down big. 5 HP to his name. Going to be throwing a shock dart in. Has that Hunter's Fury, remember. Forces him off the spike and now knows just that. Needs to find this first. Gets the double headshot. Needs to follow it up. He's not going to use that Hunter's Fury. Tries to right click, but it's not quite enough. Dialed In. They take the round after what I would say a big mistake there from Foxy not investing the Hunter's Fury. Alvin, what's going on?
Oh, good Lord. Alvin had a prime opportunity to get himself into the highlight reel there, but unfortunately, he brought out the classic instead. He didn't even try with reloading the Vandal. That could have been huge in a huge way of really carrying the lead forwards. But now, Dialed In, well, they have themselves a solid lead so far. And if things go the way they have been at the beginning of each of these rounds, where Dialed In finds the opening pick, they might very well continue this one.
Could you say that they have dialed in? Is that where we're going? Okay.
They dialed M for murder.
So, okay. That's where we go. Ira, that's a nice opening frag, though, with the knives. Talked about the lack of investment of the ultimate before. Now the showstopper comes out as well. That's Imbies taking down Adder. A big fragger gone. Larry Banks trades Imbies out, but that's going to be followed up by a shock dart to take some damage as well. Ned on the back line, though. 1, 2, easy does it. Now it's Alvin. Has to try with the classic once more, but it's all over. It's Dialed In. Take frags across the map and win it out.
Beautiful work from them overall.
Keg has just disappeared.
No, I'm good. I'm here.
Okay,
Hello.
I was scared.
As
Don't
my
scare me.
disappearing act. No, I'll never scare you. But what is scary, though, is that Dialed In have this huge advantage. We talked about it only the end of the last round, and here we are again. They got the opening picks, and they brought themselves back. Now, Bin, what can Foxy do? They both have ops.
Well, I'll look for, it's obvious, right? But look for an operator pick. That's number one. Easy to really make work. Just kind of go to an area where you know there could be some aggression and hold that with the operator. Doing just that is Ira looking towards the 2. One player getting aggressive there, but missed shot from Ira does allow for Yellowfish to follow up. Net goes down. Dobby getting aggressive, trying to do the exact same thing that I was just talking about, but at this time, it's not working out.
No, it's not working out indeed. Already losing a body on Dialed Inside. They're going to make that mad dash again to A side, but at least it's going to be a slow jog this time, not so much a dash. Smoke's going to be going down towards Orb side. However, look at where Larry Banks is, hiding away along with Nick, waiting for that first push to come on through. It's very unlikely that anyone can see Nick from his positioning here, but they're going to keep on pushing anyways. Nick has a prime opportunity to find so many different frags, but he has to make sure he makes it work. Over though, they all recombo's able to stall it out right away. The wall goes up, the mollies go down. The plant not going to be. With that being said and done, look at that. MV's able to find one. The plant's still going down. 40 seconds left on the clock. 3 left alive on Dialed Inside. Pyro, though, is able to get that up pick yet again. Look at that, though. Able to almost make it a second one, but Dobby's able to survive. Foxy, a complete crew, is able to bring themselves forward a little bit more, but Dobby gets the strike back, finds Yellowfish, and at least makes it a little bit less of a flawless win. But from there on, it's only a save.
Yeah, gonna have to be running away from this is the rest of Dialed In, not wanting to give away too much when it comes to that. The operator getting a bit aggressive there, Nick, in fact, as well, but it's not gonna be quite enough as Ira takes the longer range angle, getting out wide. And so that is denying one of those weapons, Keg. Those are all so important here moving forward because without them, I mean, you're in a bit of a tough spot. Granted, you should have enough cash to pick up a purchase into the next round if you're dialed in, considering the 4,000 credits available for net gets enough to drop one of potentially as well as that operator, but it's still a little bit dicey. And if you were to lose this round, it would be devastating.
This was such a great beginning too for Foxy's side. They won the very first pistol round, but from there it seems like Dialed In on the defense just knew what to do. Remember, we were saying that things might not be easy for them on the defense because they didn't bring out the typical Sage and Viper.
Yeah, exactly. And granted, I want to make an argument that this is a defensive side of the map. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to tell. I haven't seen it just enough to be completely blunt about it. But it seems slightly defensive sided, at least for the time being. As that, I mean, that's a great key to why. Just having that sort of positioning up on top of the crate, boxes, whatever these things are. And with that, a nice chunk of damage done, but no frags to be spoken of. And the heal comes through from Foxy, so able to get everybody back up and healthy. Still 5-on-5 with about a minute left on this clock, Keg.
That's right, a minute left to work with, and only Foxy has the Sage Revive on their side. On Dialed In, though, they have a whole lot to play with. They have a lot of options here, and one option could be Yellowfish making their way up in the kitchen. It's a seldom seen area. We haven't seen a whole lot of it, and this kill goes in for a big surprise, though. It's going to be another one to fall. But even then, look at the rest of how everything's going to go. Although things might seem to be really good right now for Foxy's side, it's going to be the trades going back and forth. Envy's going to fall, but the revive comes through. But the Showstopper make a statement for that? No, they won't. In fact, that raise is going to be overrun. Now, having control of B side, it's going to be looking really good, but that spike needs to go under yet again. But the Sage Wall comes up, and just in time, Adder's through on the other side. So will that be enough, though? The flashes come on through. Nick able to find Envy's coming in for the flame, blinding out some more. They're trapped. They're coddled. They're able to fall like dominoes, but Alvin stops the flank while he can. Two left alive, including the double jet, and then the two support characters. Can they make it work? Behind Yellow Box, versus off potentially. No, looking away at the wrong time. Luckily, though, for them, it misses. Dobby's able to find one, but no, Adder's gonna fall. That's gonna leave Dobby now the last one alive, holding it through. Able to get that Vandal back, able to trade out, find the Alvin, but there's still one more to deal with. It's Jet versus Jet. Now, Spy versus Spy. Dobby gets it.
What a great play there with the classic. No more bullets left in the Vandal that was recovered, and then able to pick that up easy and does it around. Stolen from the clutches of Foxy by that clutch play for Dobby. An operator regained now. Plenty of cash, though. The flow on the other side of Foxy, very much solid. Able to pick up rifles back once again. I want to see a change of pace here from Foxy. They've been playing it slow, methodical, trying to bait out information. This time, I want to see a fast hit. A, B, wherever it is. I don't know if Dialed In would be ready for it.
Oh, that's true. We haven't seen a full rush just yet. We almost saw one last round on B, but it got stifled so quickly. But if we see a fast one on the A, I think you're right. Dialed In's gonna be caught with their pants down.
I mean, look, there's like one player there and finally a second rotating toward A. They're just not in great positions over at A, early in these rounds.
That though, Op in hand might be able to be the one to stall all this out, but already some have made their way through. Look at those two towards the orb area. Nick might be able to find the push-up. He takes down one, but there's still one more to deal with, but he's going to get away just in time. The Sage still unknown. Pain grenades go through. Only one way to push now. It's going to have to be forwards. Nick is able to find the second one, but where's the rest of Foxy? Spike trying to make its way forward. No ult in their possession. Can't get out of there so cleanly anymore. It's going to be up to Dobby, though. Push on forwards with the knives. 87 health in a dream. Able to find another one. That's gonna be another duelist gone. Now it's down to the Sova. It's down to the Omen. Never mind, just a Sova left alive. A 3K coming out from Nick has to push their way. It's not a great situation for Foxy right now. It's a 1v3 holding the Phantom. He can't save anymore. He can't find any shots, and they know exactly where he's at. Adder finds the final hit.
This has been a great job from Dialed In to just continue winning out some rounds, just one after another. And with that, I mean, Foxy, I have to be honest, I think made a pretty big mistake right there. And that they just staggered their push. It was just one player getting aggressive, nobody there to trade, or there was a player there but didn't really go for the trade, and then followed up later with another one player aggression. It was staggered, not very effective at getting trades onto the site, and Dialed In won the gunfight. So as long as you're doing that, unless you get a big play, Foxy are going to be struggling a little bit here, Keg.
Makes me wonder, do you think pushing in like as a giant goblin horde going towards the one site with pistols might be the way to go?
Well, it certainly can be effective. I mean, it also has its own problems. But right now, that goblin horde is at B, and they're getting the plant down. So it's at the very least a better start.
That's true. Plus, they get that extra economy in their pockets to work with. Of course, though, the trades are not as favorable, though, for the side of Dialed In. And Beast is able to make this work with the Revolver Ocelot shots. But there's still so much more to deal with. The lockdown's underway. This could be huge for the attackers, trying to stall as much as they can against this eco route, but the Hunter's Fury might be able to destroy it. Having access to so many different bodies, seeing so many at once, but Dobby with it off is going to make sure it doesn't go underway. It's only down to Alvin. The rest of the Chipmunks are now gone, so only him. He's the last one alive. He has to find something to make it work, but only a Sheriff in hand. If he can make it forwards, if he can stop this one defuse, he gets the headshot. There's going to be the shock dart. He might be able to find two, but no, it's going to be a recon dart instead. Phantom in hand. He's not able to find it, but he gets it. They win an eco round.
Well, you said it was the Goblin Horde. The Goblin Horde did exactly what was necessary, Foxy. They just grouped up, walked in like a pack of the boxes, and did exactly what they needed to do to pick up that round. It was honestly a little bit lucky that Alvin got that second frag, or that the dart cover was in the position that it was, because it split out the two one-on-ones into, or the 2-on-1 into two one-on-ones. But nonetheless, you gotta take what you're given, and Alvin did exactly that and did it with style. So back to the guns for both sides here. Dialed In, they still have the advantage though. 2 rounds ahead as we move into the last stages of this first half.
Oh, Dobby got spotted out. That's a very, very odd position to be in, though. He's able to survive it all, but not so lucky. The other duelist to survive now, Dobby has to figure out what he can do. Although it's not impossible just yet, we did see some early aggression coming through from Foxy's side. Larry Banks does something different. He's able to find one as well, making B their absolute domain. If Larry Banks can stay alive, that's their round.
Oh, that's good. You see that lineup? That's so good from Larry. In fact, takes Grin down entirely. 100-0. That's just a well-placed Nanoswarm, though. Inbeast does fight one back. As now, it's 3-on-2. Line comes through. The guiding light effective. Second one as well, but not as much. Kira going to be winning that duel out. Adder, who is left, and that's going to be all she wrote. Ira with a double kill to close things out. And Foxy, they narrow the score to just 1.
Holy crap, Foxy is showing up now. They only need one more point to even things out for the whole half.
Exactly. And I mean, that's the thing, right? They started to look a little bit questionable here. You know, just able to pick up 1 round here, 1 round there. It's the first time that Foxy's able to pick up 2 in a row this entire game. It's just crazy to think about, but it's been so back and forth, as now we're into that last round before the half.
A minute and 30 left on the clock now. Hira has shown absolutely how dominant that one op can be, and throughout most of today, the VCS, Jet ops have been pretty predominant in the group stage. But can the trend continue? From here, though, we do see Dobby now a Bucky in hand. It's an eco round for the defense, but Yellowfish is going to take advantage of that opening pick, going to the favor now of the attacking team's side. It's going to be up now to the Wolf, maybe able to spawn out everybody, but now it's one Sheriff against the whole world, trying to find one, but spray through the smokes. It's going to be able to get away with it. Could they find the headshots? Yes, the snipe's going to go down. One spike gone. Able to hide away a little bit more. Adder has no idea. Yellowfish gets the trade.
well done, but oh, that's so unfortunate for Yellowfish. Dobby picked him out exactly when the rotate was coming through, or the teleport rather, on the ultimate, and so was not able to figure out who was shooting, whether it was at the location that he was teleporting to or at the old one. In fact, the old one was where it was. So Alvin, now close by to actually both of these defenders, seems to have a general idea, but the timing is all what it comes down to. Turns away, bad time, gonna be able to pick up the kill, but it's the trade there as Nick picked up one on the other side. So dialed in, close things down here, 7-5 in the first.
And they won that on an eco round too, I believe.
Yeah, it was a force buy, yeah.
Whew. That's still pretty good though. That was a moment of desperation, but it doesn't matter now. We're going to the second half, and things are looking pretty good for Dialed In, but Foxy made a great comeback. Now they're on the defense. It's all she wrote for the first half. Now they might be able to take those 5 rounds that they won and transfer those into 8 more on their own defense.
Well, and Keg, I was saying I think this is slightly defensive sided. So from my perspective, I fully admitted that I could be, wrong on that one. I haven't seen quite enough of this map, but from my perspective, I think that, a little bit reasonable that Foxy, down 2 at the half, that doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility.
We have to see though what happens next. Dobby, frenzies in hand. Keep in mind too, Dialed In, they didn't have a Viper or Sage. They were able to make the defense work, but now they're on a much more aggressive attack comp. Hyra though, holding back sight, having a Sheriff in hand, already going out the big guns, but maybe Yellowfish instead of the bigger ones after all. They're able to push on through, at least on the attacking side, but Dialed In, they're able to put in some work. Going back and forth though, only 2 left alive for the defense. It's gonna be Foxy and the others left alive. Look at the Sage though, trying to find some sniper shots at the Classic. It's not gonna quite work the way they had hoped, but Larry Banks says something otherwise. 1 left alive now. That Sage hiding in a corner, Molly in hand, already got 0 to death once, and it happens twice.
Yeah, I mean, that's just well-placed utility. A great flank there from Larry Banks, putting Dialed in prime position to start to run away with things here in the second half. Winning that pistol round definitely makes things a bit difficult. That being said, though, remember what we were looking at before, where we saw the force spy come through for Dialed In last time. Looks as if Foxy maybe doing the same thing. They've invested some players not fully investing just yet, so we'll have to see. But right now, 2 Marshals, a Bucky, and 2 Stingers available. We saw what the Bucky can do on this map, and it's quite effective.
Oh, but holding on tight. Hyra didn't want to go for the shot on either the Omen or the Raze. Interesting. But we've seen this situation before. Everyone in the defense dogpiled to the back of the site, giving full range for Dialed In to make their moves. But even then, although they might be able to get it forwards, they're trying to play a retake right now. Less to be said, though, we have to see what Dialed In can do next. They have the plant into the ground. They have to find their proper position to go forwards. But look at Envy's, though, having the boom bot going on through, not able to find anything, but the Marshal at the top here isn't doing much justice either, finding some pop shots onto the Omen, but misses twice, no less. That just gives more room for Dialed In to get through.
Yeah, some key with Marshal shots. I think if some of those hit, it's probably a little bit of a different story for Foxy in that round. But otherwise, now Dialed In, they're going to have the opportunity to pick up 3 in a row here. Just one time has either of these teams picked up 3 in a row in this game so far. It's been very close in general. And with the fact that they invested there, Foxy, I mean, I understand why you invest, but this is the problem with that investment, Keg, that you put yourself in a position where you now have to eco essentially 3 rounds in a row.
That's a tough position to be in too. But the Marshal returns yet again. Hyra could find some work with it. Hasn't been able to with the Marshal before, but that's not going to stop him just yet. Net is playing completely going deep into the site yet again. We haven't seen a single attempt on B as of yet, and there's been no reason to. Adder's been able to make it work. Alvin goes down. Golden Harmonica gone, but even then, still one looms in the shadows. There has to be a plan going down yet again. This Marshal's not working for Hyra, and that makes it work themselves. Only 2 left alive for Foxy's side, and they have to be relegated into a corner yet again themselves. You thought the back of A was bad. How about the back of the entire map? Because that's what Dobby does.
Yeah, Dialed In pushing Foxy all the way back into their spawn and making their home right there. Doing it incredibly well, I might add. So we are now into the purchasing rounds for Foxy. They have the tools necessary to bring things away in this round, but they have yet to be hitting those shots defensively that we had been seeing on the attack. So on the Foxy side, I just need to see some adjustments. I need to see some players stepping up to the plate and hitting it out of the park.
Hitting out of the park is something the snipers usually do, but here we just haven't seen Hyra been able to do that. Now with the Phantom in hand, no longer the Marshal, they're able to buy up and save their money doing so. But look at that, so many different orbs coming on through, but they take down the Orb Master instead. Hyra's able to find Adder, but look at this, the defense comes out strong. They're able to find so much on the kill feed that Dial In now suddenly melt away. They got turned into a blender on the same site they go over and over again. That leaves just Larry Banks, the last one alive.
I mean, and that's the adjustment, right? Foxy doing exactly what they needed to do despite the Seekers coming through. That was the sole ultimate available for the offense Dialed In, and so they solidify themselves. They get that round. Granted, it was against the bonus round, so Dialed In didn't have the full weaponry on their side just yet. This is where the rubber meets the road, Keg. This is exactly where you need to be finding a couple of rounds in a row, because Foxy, if they don't, they're looking at the, well, the business end of an exit here from the groups. Of course, that all depends on the map diff, I believe, but nonetheless, still, Dialed In, 4 rounds ahead.
At some point, every highway comes to an end, and that may very well be the case for Dialed In, but they're going to come back with a vengeance this round. Look at the fast push coming through B site. This is the first time we've seen it, and yet the Killjoy still looms on the middle of the map, waiting for a flank to come by. Little do they know, they don't have to worry about that. In fact, there's a complete battlefield happening on B site. Not a single person's able to see a goddamn thing looking around, except for Dobby, able to take the snipe off of Hyra, but even then, Yellowfish is piloting right around the corner. Green Box, only thing that's keeping them safe, has to loom around, but the defenders are keeping on back. Only 3 left alive now for Dialed Inside. Still no spike into the ground. It has to be up to Foxy to play with this time and make sure they can use it accordingly for the spike to never go into the ground. Little do they know, though, everyone on Dialed In has escaped. Larry Banks is able to find Alvin, leaving only 1 defender left alive, but Ren says, no, I'm staying in the game a little bit longer. Dialed In, though, they've made their way onto A, Vin. It's down to a 1v3. This Sage, for the potential to revive somebody, in fact, they do even out the numbers 2 and 2, could bring it back with only 30 seconds to spare.
Yeah, this is definitely winnable right now for Rin and co. As Foxy move forward, trying to just clear out all the angles. Remember, anybody could be sitting anywhere in a 2-on-2. That makes things a little bit more difficult, though I will say, with the Showstopper online, that's going to make things maybe a bit easier. Envy's pulls that out. The timer ticking down, though. 2 players up on the top ropes. Neither going to get checked, though. As Adder picks up that first, and Dobby closes the second. That strike not getting diffused today, and Dialed In return fire.
Some say that Spike is still ticking away to this very day, but now only 2 points away from going further into the group stage, now into the actual tournament.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the key, right? Whenever you get in here, that group stage, definitely want to do well, but it's all about getting into, well, first the round of 32 and then moving forward. It's exactly what Dialed In is primed and ready to make happen.
Look at Yellowfish here. Not going to find anything immediately, but there's a dog nearby. The dog could give a lot of intel. A huge caravan happening towards B yet again. This happened a few rounds in a row now, and it kind of has varied results. But Yellowfish doesn't care. Yellowfish holds anything he can. Yellowfish, Yellow Box, Yellow no problem. Look at that, though. Already finding some opening pop shots. Not able to find any of them, though. The Yellow Warrior's gone, and it's going to be Adder now holding over to the site. Dobby, of course, is going to find another one as well. But look at that, though. The numbers melting away on Foxy's side. It's going to be 2.5 left, as already the race is heavily damaged, but might be able to find one, but is caught out from behind. 2 left alive now, having to make their way towards A again. We've seen this story happen so many times. Alvin this time does have a Hunter's Fury and could stall out the spike plan.
Well, we'll see. Alvin before a little bit questioning whether or not to pull it out this time. No hesitation. Rin, though, does find that kill before the Hunter's Fury can do just that. So now, Spike getting planted, and Dobby, with that first frag, doing exactly what is needed. Rin is down, done and dusted. It's a good reposition right now from Alvin. It picks up the first. Now is not necessarily aware of the player close right in the corner. Yes, he does. Frag is there. The headshot in, and now defuse. Foxy, they live for just a few more rounds because that is a great clutch from Alvin.
Oh, saying it's a great clutch is a vast understatement, Ben. That was an amazing clutch coming out from them. Holy!
Yeah, I mean, just incredible, right? Because Foxy, if they lose that round, they have no money, right? Okay, they're just out. They're basically done.
No, that's not good. But now with Foxy, they're still kind of on the brink of the edge economically. They are able to buy up and full buy, well, for the most part, minus the Omen. But Yellowfish on a Bucky might be able to hold B pretty effectively. That being said, though, I'm most concerned about Hyra. They haven't been able to hit their shots in the defense. Now, Vin, do you think they're able to do that?
Certainly can be. I mean, it's always a question mark, right? But players can step up big time. And what is that, Yellowfish? It's not supposed to work at that distance.
Holy crap. Oh, there's a lot of things that are working at odd distances right now. Foxy's able to find yet another one. It's going to be Dobby to fall. Dialed in there, had such a strong round, but now they're kind of whittling away on their own. Spike going for its usual course from starting to B, now going to A, is actually going to be taking a small little pit stop on the highway to A, instead going towards mid. They're trying to find an alternative route, but unfortunately, the top of tube is going to be a gigantic sage wall.
It's so toxic. That strategy is just so ridiculous. No,
but
they were able to sneak in.
It works. Larry Banks is not able to clap it up, bringing things back into their favor yet again. Foxy only has 2 left alive. They're not going to go for the same sage wall. They're going to try to avoid kitchen like the plague. With that being said, though, plan's going to go down, having no visibility. Alvin doesn't have his Hunter's Fury anymore. He used it last round. He has to use himself to push on up, either as bait, either as a weapon himself. He needs to do something. His teammate is on the other side, though, and Snowman, he's by himself. There's one right around the corner, and they have no idea. Envy, though, has a great chance. Has a lot of open ground. Might be able to find something. Has to get down the drone, but even then, nobody's able to around to be finding anything. Larry Banks with a triple kill is going to find it instead.
I mean, Larry Banks just stepped up big time right there in the big moment. Dialed in. Now, they have 5 match points to their name. And Foxy needed to contend with them. And like I was saying, Keg, look at the money. It's devastated. It's absolutely broken. Foxy don't have any cash available. They're going to have to pick up 2 Buckies. Going to have 1 rifle only. And that is a shorty as well. I assume Era's going to be picking up the Blade Storm as well, but nonetheless, this is a horrible buy.
It's such a rough round. It's so rough, Vin. There's no other way to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And does lots of damage there. Does the Foxy players, but not quite enough. So Hira is going to get a headshot. That does fight back 1, but there's just 2 left. Hira now picks up 1 more, and Alvin chimes in for one of their own. 2-on-2 is what it comes down to once again. It's been a 2-on-2 the last 2 rounds. Let's see how it goes.
Oh no, Hyro just peeking out in the middle of nowhere. No intel to work with them. It's still trying to go through. The recon bolt finally gonna come through. Blinded out completely. Adder's able to find it instead. That's only gonna leave 1 left Foxy alive. If he's gonna fall, that's the end of the series right here. But Alvin's gonna throw a Battlefront instead. But still, that ult never lies. It knows exactly where the Sova is at. If Alvin can push on through, maybe even find just 1, that's it. They might be able to bring it back and stay in the series. But they peeked out at once. Adder takes down Alvin. That's going to be Dialed In moving on forwards in the VCS tournament.
Yeah, Dialed In. I said I wasn't necessarily impressed with some of the performances that they've had, but this has been the step up, the big money moves that they've been making, and really making the difference here. They're on Icebox, doing everything necessary to just be better than Foxy. In a couple of those 2v2s, I mean, we saw it 3 rounds in a row. It went 2-1. 2 for Dialed In, 1 for Foxy. And Alvin, you know, props trying to make those plays, but it just was not quite enough, Keg.
It wasn't quite enough, and what a fantastic showing from both teams, but it just wasn't enough for Foxy. We had a lot of high hopes for them, and hopefully we have even more hopes for them next week as well. But dialed in, they showed what they could do, Vin, and I think we're going to keep on continuing to see what kind of amazingness they can do once we're out of the group stage here. Look at that, Dobby, 21 and
Ooh.
11.
I mean, that's not even. I don't feel surprised in the slightest. There, Dobby had a great game in general. 21, 11, and 4. Not a question to me. Definitely in the conversation for that match MVP. And getting that one. So doing a great job.
But what is to come as well? We did have amazing scorelines from just about everybody that last matchup here, but I think when it came down to it, Vin, it was just how each team wanted to play as a whole. We saw a lot of very B-focused sides when it came to Foxy, and it worked for a little while, but they just weren't able to adapt once dialed in, figured out what exactly they needed to do.
Well, and it was very much two separate conversations, right? Because whenever Foxy were playing on their attacker side, they were very much one dimensional. They didn't really have a lot of gears to move into beyond just the B hit A hit kind of deal, and that really came back to bite them. Whenever they would try and rotate out to somewhere, it would be very obvious. They were very much found out early on, and we saw them walking into a site with 3 players quite often. Only a couple times did they really pull off an effective fake, and even then, it was when they pulled off a very fast play, and so that just caught off guard the defense on their defender side. It just wasn't quite enough. They couldn't make it happen.
Well, luckily for us and luckily for the audience here, we're not going to be faking quite a few things on the production side of things here. That's the end of us here casting on the VCS for week 44, but it has been an amazing time to get through the group stage with all of you guys. My name has been Keg, this has been Vision, and we are going to keep on being here, but next week. But don't go anywhere. We have more amazing games and more amazing casters coming up. But don't go anywhere.